Hey guys, Mustang here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and today we are going to be talking about team building for the Beerus Extreme Z Awakening event that should go live I think it's about 7 hours after this video goes up. The event will be live. So it's a very straightforward EZA. Obviously the last one with the Father-Son Gallic Gun, we had the first ever 2 opponents EZA, but this goes back to the regular format of the straightforward 30 stages against 1 opponent. Funnily enough, having released this order on Global, this one is going to be very similar to the Father-Son Gallic Gun one, although you don't need to focus as much on STR units since you are only fighting the single tech opponent. So just like the Father-Son Gallic Gun one, the Realm of Gods category is the category that you want to use. It says here no additional damage reduction against Super or Extreme, so as long as you got Realm of Gods. So I brought up the Realm of Gods page on the wiki. Obviously you're going to want to be using Ultra Instinct Goku as your leader. I did bring up the information for this, the free-to-play Supreme Kai, if you'd farmed them up when the event was still on. But their leader skill is only 3 key and 50% to stats, so you're probably not going to be using them. You're going to be using UI Goku. If you don't have UI Goku, then chances are you probably have LR Vegito Blue, who is a unit that I would recommend being on the team anyway. So potentially you can use him, although it does of course restrict you to super class units only. And we do have a couple of extreme units featured here. So if you haven't seen one of these EZA team building videos that I've done before, I go over the 6 main units that make up the team that I will be using, which is essentially the team that I recommend, and then obviously we'll go over some other options at the end. So we've got UI Goku as the leader, Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, obviously not an int unit, but he's an LR on the category, very high defense, especially after you get 1 or 2 of his 12 key supers off. He's basically not going to be taking any damage, even in the higher stages, unless he gets super attacked, but he's still going to take a little bit less than other non-int units would. So now a unit that I thought would be very interesting on this team is the TEQ Super Saiyan God Goku. So when the Beerus EZA event came out on JP, the movie stuff hadn't come out yet. So this unit was not on JP when the Beerus EZA came out. Now he's obviously part of the Realm of Gods category, but the reason he's such a good unit and why he was so good on the AGL Broly EZA is that this extra part of his passive, damage received minus 77% when there is a movie bosses category enemy. So Beerus is on the movie bosses category, which means this second part of his passive will be active. So he's already a good unit in total anyway, pretty average, decent stats for a TUR, gives himself attack and defense 100%, and then also reduces damage by 77% in this particular event. So in the AGL Broly event, obviously he did have type disadvantage, but type advantage. Broly had type disadvantage against him. If you watched the video I put out where I got up to stage 251, this guy was still taking almost double digits from attacks. So obviously he's not going to have type advantage over Beerus, it's just neutral because they're both tech types. But this minus 77% will be in effect, so he's going to take very little damage. I know most people only complete up to stage 30, but I do like to try and build, when I build my ideal team, like the 6 units that I'm going to show you, these are the units that I will use, and I intend to get to at least stage 100 on pretty much every EZA. So hopefully this 77% and his nice defense stat is going to mean he still tanks very well against Beerus even without the type advantage. So then we go on to the Super Battle Road / EZA MVP, whenever the Realm of Gods or any category that he's on, I guess, is involved, the Int Zamasu. So again, much like the God Goku in the Broly event, this guy is going to take very little damage in this event, especially up to stage 30. Like even super attacks are not going to do a huge amount of damage to him. The only real difference is once you drop a certain amount of HP, he automatically reduces damage by 40%, but then he gets attack and defense up to 60%. The more HP remaining, the greater the boost. So if you start the turn on super low health, he's not going to get much of a boost from this. But as long as he's only getting normal attacks, he's still going to have this 40% damage reduction and type advantage, and of course the category advantage. Plus, he heals when he super attacks, which is incredibly useful considering that you can't use items in the EZA. So anything that has a healing passive or heals on super or anything like that is very, very useful in these kind of events. So he's very, very good. And then we also have the STR Rose Goku Black. So one of the main reasons he's on the team is the fact that he's the perfect link partner for the Int Zamasu, because you want Int Zamasu to super attack every single time that he comes up. Like, I would run Int Zamasu and Rose as one of the rotations. Zamasu's going to be able to tank everything, and then linked up with Rose, I'm pretty sure they both start on 12 key. So he's never not going to super, you're going to get your heal. And it allows you to do some strategic plays, like if you get these guys on your first rotation, or even if it is a third or fifth rotation, whatever, if you're on full health at the start of the turn, you can put Goku Black in the first slot, get him to let off an attack and probably take a hit or two, which means you're going to lose a little bit of health, and then Zamasu comes in, super attacks, and gains you a decent amount of health back. So they work really well as a combination. Obviously, the STR Rose Goku Black is, I would say still, he used to be, I know now that we're getting more and more category leaders, I guess the tier list is expanding, but I used to say that he was probably the best TUR in the game. He's still, I would say he's probably still in the top 10. He's incredibly good just because of all, I mean, look at all this text. That's one of the reasons why he's so good, because he does so many things. So he's going to be very useful on this event. Obviously in the higher stages, especially if he gets super attacked, he probably is going to take quite a bit of damage. But depending on how the attacks are spread out on the rotation, you're going to want to put Zamasu in front of most of them anyway. So, and then the final unit that I've put on my team is the Int Whis. Now obviously this one is, I would say, the major one, that if you want to change out one of these units, he's probably the least important. But obviously we know now with the state of the game and how the game works, the current meta, you want to use support units where you can. So obviously his lowering attack is not going to come into play in the later stages. Where is it? He becomes immune to attack lowering on stage 15. So I mean, up to stage 14 it'll still work, but I mean, you're not going to struggle up to stage 14, especially if you have this exact team of 6 units. But he gives Ki +2, attack and defense plus 20% to all allies, so that's not bad. I mean, he does supreme damage. He's obviously not going to hit, I mean, he'll be the least hardest hitting unit on this team, but he's pretty good. He's got decent links for this team. If you want to bring a Beerus, he's a very, very good link partner for Beerus. So I guess we'll go over the couple of substitutes. So obviously if you have LR, Beerus and Whis, any LRs essentially on the category that has advantage over an EZA are going to be very useful. The LR Goku Black and Zamasu is the same sort of thing, but they're obviously not as good. They take a little while to build up, and they don't link super well with just Zamasu, strangely enough, but they would link well with Rose if you don't have the Int Zamasu. Some of these units here, things like Gogeta, obviously he has type advantage over everyone, but not type advantage defense, so he is an AGL unit. So I would say the units here are probably last resort picks, because you're going to have type disadvantage. You're going to get hit incredibly hard in the later stages. But then we got units like the recently EZA'd Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. If you have him fully EZA'd and you want to switch him in, he's potentially even a better choice than the Whis, to be honest. I'm going to have to see how he takes hits, because I guess his passive is only fully active if you get another Vegeta family unit on the team, but the extra part of his passive is only the support part, I believe. Yeah, attack and defense 30%. So really, he gives that to himself as well, which obviously makes him a lot better. 120% is going to do you a lot better than 90, but I mean, he could still be pretty good. So if you don't have the Whis but you have him, I'd say that's a very easy choice to switch up. And then obviously any of these units here, I mean, we just found out today that Goku Black stuff has been added to the files, but he's not going to be out before the EZA drops, and I imagine he probably won't be out before the EZA goes away. So anyone here is going to be good because they have the category and the type advantage. And then moving down, units like Jiren has really good defense. Won't do as much damage in the later stages, but will still be able to take a hit fairly well. Same with the God Vegeta, as long as his defensive passive goes off and he's able to tank. It'll be interesting to test out the transforming Vegeta actually, because obviously he wasn't on JP either when this event first came out. So that could be quite interesting. Physical Vegito Blue is brings back memories seeing him here, but he's so outdated now. If he was an int unit, he'd probably be amazing for this team, but obviously the LR is probably going to serve you better with his more defensive capabilities. And then anyone below a TUR is probably not worth considering. I mean, Demigra, he can't stun, so I mean this guy from the barbershop's pretty terrible. So yeah, I can't really think of any non-TURs that you'd want to bring. So that pretty much covers some of the fill-in options. Obviously, if you have these exact 6 units, I would say this is probably your ideal team. Maybe subbing in the EZA Vegeta for any one of these units that you don't have. Or potentially even the Whis. I'm not really sure. I'm going to do some testing and we'll see which one of them is the best. So, but yeah, one thing definitely to note is, for those of you that have been following the channel, my ability to stream on YouTube should be back as of tomorrow when this EZA goes live. So hopefully we'll be streaming it. So stay tuned to the channel because you will see the schedule thing come up as long as it starts working. Because here in the UK, it's already the evening on the 9th, which is the day that it's supposed to expire, and it still says it's there on my channel. So who knows? But anyway, let me know down below in the comments what team you are going to use. I saw some people on the last one say they were pretty much using the exact team, which is pretty cool. Let me know who you're going to use, who you're going to swap out if you don't have all 6 of the units. And let me know how far you plan to go, because like I said, I know a lot of people only get to stage 30, but I have a lot of people on my friends list that are pretty competitive that we'll try and get as high as we can. So let me know what you're planning to do. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. If you found this helpful at all, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can follow my Twitch channel, all my other social media in the description down below, including the link to my Discord. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.